how to be a priority, not an option. In this video, I'm gonna share what it takes to get a guy to truly invest in you. It's Sabrina, your personal love advisor from A New Mode, the channel where we show you how love actually works. Here's a common misconception. A lot of people mistakenly believe that they will get what they give. So a woman might invest her whole heart in a guy. She might prioritize him above anything else she has going on in her life. And she expects, or she hopes, that he'll do the same for her. And when that doesn't happen, she keeps working harder and harder, hoping that with a little more effort, a little more investment, then she'll get that priority treatment from him. But that's not what happens. The opposite happens. The more you invest in him, the more he realizes he doesn't have to prioritize you, and you become a doormat, and he becomes this supreme being that you absolutely must fight to win over. Then you end up in a lopsided relationship where you're doing all the work, where your whole heart is on the line, and he just kind of has a take it or leave it type of attitude. And it kills you because you really care about this guy. You really want to make it work. So what can you do? How can you get that priority treatment from him? What makes a guy treat a woman like a priority? I'm going to share everything with you, so make sure you watch this video all the way until the end. Real quick, if you like this video and find it helpful, please give it a like, and also be sure to subscribe to my channel, ring the bell so you don't miss out when I post new videos, and follow me on Instagram at A New Mode. And if you want even more, make sure to subscribe to the A New Mode newsletter. You can subscribe at anewmode.com/subscribe. The link is down below. The newsletter is where we share our best content. You'll get personal stories, answers to all your questions, access to all of our books, our audio programs, everything. And it's delivered right to your inbox every day, so make sure to sign up for that. Okay, let's get into it. First, we're gonna talk about a few signs that your guy is not treating you like a priority. This will just give you a little bit more clarity to know that you're not crazy, you're not just being paranoid and insecure, and he really isn't prioritizing you. Number one, he's in and out of your life. So a lot of women call this being hot and cold, playing mixed messages, being wishy-washy. The point is, he is not consistent. He disappears for days at a time, then he's all in, and you really just never know where you stand with this guy. A guy who prioritizes you and really cares about you just won't do this. Number two, he doesn't make plans in advance. If you try to make a plan with him, he might not give you a definitive answer. He might say, oh, I don't know, I gotta see what's going on with work, and my family might need me, or my friend might need me, and I don't know, and he kind of just holds you off, and then maybe last minute he'll accept your invitation. Or maybe he'll call you last minute asking if you wanna come over, if you wanna do something, but there's no advanced planning. You kind of just feel like, you know, some last minute option when he's bored and has nothing else to do. Number three, you're doing all the work. You always initiate the plans. You always initiate the calls or the texts. You're always the one reaching out. You're always the one coming up with the ideas. And you kind of feel deep down that if you stop doing these things, then you would just never hear from this guy again. If you've watched some of my other videos, you know I talk about this a lot. I basically call it the passive reciprocation trap. So you reach out to him and he's perfectly nice and he's perfectly friendly, but then he doesn't do any of the reaching out. He doesn't do any of the initiating. He's just nice and friendly when you reach out to him first. Number four, he tells you he doesn't want a relationship. Maybe he doesn't want a relationship with anyone right now. Maybe he just doesn't want to be in a relationship with you. Either way, if a guy says this to you, first of all, believe him. Second of all, it is a clear sign that you are not a priority in his life. Maybe he wants to focus on other priorities in his life. It doesn't matter, but you are not a priority. And do not stick around hoping you can change his mind. This is a terrible mistake. And I have a whole other video about what to do when a guy says he doesn't want a relationship with you. So if that's what's going on, make sure to watch that. And number five, he doesn't do anything to make you feel special. You just kind of feel like a girl in his life. Not a girl who gets special treatment, special regard, special consideration. Nothing really. Okay, so now what? After that quick list, maybe you realize, yeah, you're just an option to this guy. You're not a priority. How can you turn the tables? How can you turn things around so that you become his priority? I'm gonna share exactly how it's done. Number one, exercise your walking power. Walking power does not mean you make threats and ultimatums and say to him, you better treat me right or I'm gonna walk away. That's just a childish ultimatum. Walking power isn't anything you say, it is a mindset. It is a belief that you carry within you. And it is the belief that if this guy doesn't treat me the way that I deserve to be treated or the way I want to be treated, then I'll leave this relationship and I'll be okay. It won't be the end of the world. It won't be the end of my self-esteem. I'll just move on. And it's just something you carry with you and it emanates outward. I can't explain to you how it works, but it works. It's just a vibe. It's an energy. Men are biologically hardwired to desire a woman who is the prize, if you will. What makes something a prize? It's that it's desired by many other people. Other people want to have it, want to acquire it, will do what it takes to get it. So if a guy senses that he could lose you to some other guy unless he steps up and really brings his A game and gets his act together, then he will do those things. If he senses that you're just gonna stick around no matter what, he doesn't really need to do anything, you're just gonna be there, then what's the motivation to do anything? What's the motivation to prioritize you? What's the motivation to give you that special treatment and exert that extra effort? Human beings do not exert extra effort for no reason. We will only do it if it has some sort of benefit. You're not gonna go to a store and see something on sale and insist on paying full price anyway. It's just not how people operate. The point is, when a man knows he doesn't really need to put in much effort, then very soon after you guys get together and very soon after he realizes this, you'll notice that the amount of effort he puts into the relationship just starts to decline. If a guy senses that he really could lose you unless he really brings it, unless he really works for you, unless he really prioritizes you, then he's gonna do those things. If he truly likes you. If he doesn't really like you, then whatever, he'll let you slip away, and that's not a loss for you because you don't wanna be with a guy who doesn't wanna be with you. Walking power means you always remember that you have other options. I know you really like this guy, but believe me when I say there are plenty others out there. So don't put all your hopes, all your dreams into this one guy. That is a losing strategy. You have to keep reminding yourself that you will be okay no matter what, and you'll be fine if this relationship doesn't work out. And you'll be fine walking away if he's not treating you the way you want to be treated. Walking power is also a reminder that you don't need to be with this guy. You choose to be with him. And you might unchoose to be with him if he's not worthy of you. That's what it is. It's a mindset. And the most crucial time to use your walking power is, as I mentioned earlier, one of the signs he's not prioritizing you is that he says he doesn't want to be in a relationship. Really, your only option there is to use the walking power. Don't just have the mindset, you actually need to follow through. Why does this work? Because if he really does want you, he's not just gonna let you go. He'll come after you. And if he doesn't come after you, then he's not the guy for you, and this isn't a loss. Number 2, establish depth of connection. One main area men look at when deciding if you're just a girl or if you're the girl is depth of connection. And this gets overlooked by most people, and it's really important. When you have depth of connection, you are a special person in his life. You are a partner, you're confident, you're on the inside, and his guard is truly down when he's around you. It is only when you have depth of connection that true love can really happen. You have to get to that place. And a lot of people don't, because they're so caught up in their own needs, their own wants, understanding how the other person feels, because that has so much impact for their sense of self and for their self-esteem. And people just don't establish that depth of connection. It also could be because they've been hurt in the past and are afraid to be vulnerable and afraid to be open with someone else. But this is crucial if you want to establish an intimate relationship and you really want him to treat you like a priority. Because when you have that depth of connection with him, you will be the most important person in his life. So how do you know if you have depth of connection with a guy? Here are some good questions to ask to figure it out. Does he talk to you about problems and stresses he deals with in his life, or does he just present the got it all together facade to you? Is he real with you? Does he show his true emotions? Is he guarded or unguarded around you? Does he keep things light and flirty and fun? Which is fine. I mean, it's fine to keep things like that sometimes, but does he also go deep and really reveal his true self to you? Does he talk to you about what's most important to him? Do you know things about him that no one else does? Things that people can't figure out just by looking at his Facebook or his LinkedIn or his Instagram profile. Has he immersed you in his life? You've met his friends, his family, but it goes beyond just meeting them. He really wants you to be close to them. He wants you to be like best friends with his sister and friends with, his best friend's girlfriend, and he really just wants to bring you into the fold. Does he make an effort for you to understand him? And does he talk about the future with you in a real and concrete way? It's important to ask these questions. This is how you'll know how much depth of connection you have with him. It really comes down to whether he is guarded or whether he is unguarded around you. And this is really what's gonna tell you if you truly have relationship potential with this guy. Number 3, let him know what it is you want. I get so many questions in my inbox, in my DMs, from women who basically want me to be a mind reader for their man. Like, they'll say to me, okay, so, I've been out with this guy a few times and he never calls me first. Like, why doesn't he do that? What's going on in his head? Or why hasn't he kissed me yet? Why hasn't he introduced me to his friends yet? Why is he, why hasn't he called me his girlfriend? And I'm always like, well, have you asked him? And they're like, well, no. And I get the fear, I get the reason they don't want to come right out and ask him, because we've been so conditioned not to be needy, not to seem desperate. And we think that expressing any sort of need will come across that way and then we'll scare the guy away. But the thing is, having needs and wanting to know where you stand in the relationship and what's going on is not neediness. That's not desperation. Needy people put up with anything. They put up with bad treatment because they're afraid they won't ever find better, and they want to hold on to something because that's better than nothing. That's not the same as being a woman who knows her worth, knows what she wants, and just wants more clarity on where the guy stands. It's very attractive to express yourself and express your wants and express your needs and call a guy out when he's not living up to the standard. Owning what you want is not neediness. Neediness is needing someone else to validate you because you are unable to do that yourself. You are unable to feel good about yourself on your own, and you need him. You need him to mirror that back to you in order to feel good about yourself. So these are just not the same things. I just don't want you to be afraid to ask a guy a question about your relationship. Now, do not be naggy or demanding about it. That's where it becomes unattractive. That's where it becomes a bit of a man repeller. Just say to him with poise and confidence and compassion, you know, I would really appreciate it if you plan things with me in advance. I just like to have my week all mapped out, and that's just what I need from you. Or, I really love it when you text me or call me during the day for no reason. It really makes me feel good. Or I love it when you plan romantic dates. It really makes me feel cared for. You have to say it in a way that will make him feel good about doing it, not in a way that's shaming him or blaming him or, you know, accusing him or of being this like terrible guy who is just treating you horribly. You also have a right to know where you stand in the relationship. If you're unclear, then just ask him. That is a good thing. Not putting up with bad behavior is a good thing. It's attractive. A woman with boundaries is attractive. So don't be afraid to do these things. Also, if you want that priority treatment and you want certain things from him, you want him to call you in advance to plan the romantic dates, you can't expect him to be a mind reader, and there's no like secret way to like send the message to him subliminally so that he'll get it. Just be outright. Number 4, pull back. This one really applies if you are doing all the work. You're doing all the planning, all the texting, all the initiating, and you are in the passive reciprocation trap that I described earlier. If that's the scenario that you're in, you have to pull back a little bit. Stop working so hard at this. Now, working hard may have served you in other areas of your life. Maybe it got you where you are in your career, and so you think that that's the same approach you need to use in your love life, but it's not. If you're doing everything, this is an unbalanced relationship, and he's never gonna treat you like a priority, because why should he? Why does he have to? You're doing all the work for him. So if that's a situation that you're in, just pull back. Give him the space to come to you. And one of two things will happen. He either will put in more effort, will start investing in you more, or you'll just never hear from him again, in which case you'll know for sure that you were in a passive reciprocative, that's a word, relationship, and it's just better that it ended and didn't drag on for however many more months or years. Number 5, don't commit to him until he has committed to you. Like I said, someone is not going to invest in you based on how much you invest in them. So do not act like his girlfriend until you are his girlfriend. Because showing him, like, this isn't an audition. Don't audition for the role of girlfriend by acting like his girlfriend and showing him what a great girlfriend you'll be, hoping that he'll realize it. That's not what's going to get him to realize it. What he's going to realize is, wow, I'm getting all the benefits of having a girlfriend and I don't even have to do any of the work. This is amazing. I don't want this situation to ever end. I'm just going to drag this out for as long as I can. So if you're dating a guy, you really like him, you can't even fathom dating other guys, do it anyway, or at least mentally keep yourself open to that possibility. Do not commit yourself exclusively to him until he has clearly and explicitly committed to you and said, okay, we're official. Let's do this. Give him the space to invest in you. Don't just invest in him hoping that that will be enough. Because when you do this, it doesn't feel earned and it doesn't feel deserved. And people are not appreciative of getting things that they didn't actually earn. That doesn't feel good. It feels wrong. Let him put in the effort. Give him the space to put in the effort. Don't just go all in with this guy. Number 6, be easy to be around. Now, this is the number 1 thing that men want in a woman, and it's something that most people don't talk about. But what a man wants in a woman is a woman who is easy to be around. That's it. That's all it really takes. Women can have mile-long checklists of what they want in a guy, but most guys just want the same thing. He needs to be attracted to you, and you need to just be easy to be around. If being around you is a drag, he won't want to be around you. If being around you is fun and enjoyable and pleasant, he'll want to be around you. It really is as simple as that. Number 7, prioritize yourself. If you want a man to treat you like a priority, you have got to prioritize yourself. Here's how it works. By putting the focus on yourself, you're not putting so much pressure on the relationship. You're not putting so much pressure on him to be a certain way, to give you a certain title, to validate you in a certain way. You're focusing on being your best self. And this carries over to the previous point about being easy to be around. It's easy to be around a happy person, a happy, balanced, fulfilled person who has a lot going on in her life. So that's what's important. Yes, relationships and love are other-oriented. It is about seeing the other person, factoring them into your life, making sacrifices. But that doesn't happen in the beginning of a relationship. Before he has truly invested in you and prioritized you, your priority is not him. It is on you. It is on focusing on yourself, on your happiness, on your self-esteem, and doing all of that outside of the relationship. At this point in time, he is just someone who is enhancing your life. He is someone who is enhancing your happiness. He is not the sole source of your happiness. Fill your schedule as much as you can. Try to remember all the things that drew this guy to you. If you're in a long-term relationship and you notice that he's not treating you like a priority anymore, think back to how you were in the beginning when you first started dating. What kinds of things were you doing? And what maybe fell by the wayside in the time since? Granted, our lives do tend to shift and change as a relationship gets more established, but try to think about how you could be a little bit more of that girl that you were in the beginning, because that's what drew him to you. And that's what made him treat you like a priority and want to commit to you and invest in you. And if you're not yet in a committed relationship, again, please do not commit to him until he has committed to you. Don't put him first. Again, it's not deserved and it's not earned. And he will never treat you like a priority if you just give yourself away so freely to him and you give him this status that he just doesn't deserve. So what did you think of this list? Do you agree? Do you disagree? If you have any thoughts, feedback, questions, please leave them in the comment section. I read them all. For more on this topic, check out anewmode.com, subscribe to our newsletter, anewmode.com/subscribe, follow me on Instagram @newmode, and I will see you guys in the next video.